Hello, plant community. Today I figured I'd focus our attention on a fern that most people find very hard to care for, very difficult, and quite frankly is a drama queen. I'm going to tell you about my care tips and how I go about caring for this guy. So, to me, the maiden hair fern is fairly easy. Yes, it requires misting unless you bring it outside into a shady area. Then, otherwise than that, I don't think it would really require much misting, although I don't think it wouldn't mind misting. After all, any type of misting on a fern really does help this fern. Um, so the easiest way I find of caring for this guy, honestly, because they are drama queens. They do get very dramatic, especially if you let them go dry. Is I take a drainage dish, I put pebbles at the bottom, and honestly, I fill that drainage dish all the way up. It really seems to work for this guy. This guy seems to be flourishing very well. He seems very happy. As you can see, he's got little seeds on his fronds there. Seems to really work well for him. Of course, you will get dry tips on your fern. Right there, you'll get little dry tips, but that's normal. That will happen as, if I show you in the back over here, as new little fronds start to come out. Old fronds will die off. That is completely normal and natural for this species of ferns. I find it happens with most ferns, actually. Some maiden hairs are native to America. I'm not sure about this particular species here. I will say they do breathe in underneath their fronds here. So if you could, honestly, just completely avoid touching it. Like, honestly, if you feel like you're gonna touch it, mist it. Misting helps a lot with these guys. Or humidity tray. Any way you can up the humidity, especially during winter, I think would help. Now, I have not been through winter with this guy. I have not overwintered him. So far, I have kept him indoors because the wind seems kind of strong, and I don't want him to fall over in the wind because we've been having a lot of storms lately. But anyways, this guy seems particularly easy and not as fussy if you stick him in a dish of water, honestly, and wait for it to completely dry up. It seems to work for me. Of course, your area and your location might be a little different. Your location, say if you're located in Arizona or someplace like that, your location might be a little bit more drier. You might need to up the humidity. I know here in winter, in Indiana, we get real dry, so it's a constant battle to up the humidity. Yeah, I'm not really finding this guy really fussy. I've already had him for a month now. I just keep him in a drainage dish of water, let it completely dry out. When that dish dries out, I fill it back up with distilled water only. For all your plants you want to use distilled water, I might make another video talking about some ways you can distill your water for your plants. There is a lot of cheap ways out here if you're on a budget. Yeah, I would definitely say not to touch this guy too much. I heard they could take temperatures pretty cold, but I don't think with this particular guy I would risk that type of temperature. Honestly, I think I would keep him up in the 60-degree range for this particular species. I only use rainwater or distilled water for this guy. He seems to really like it. In their native habitat, kind of makes sense why they would like to be in water. In their native habitat, where they grow along edges of waterfalls and the rocks of waterfalls, so they they do like to be tight in their pots. They seem to really enjoy that, being kept tight in their pots. And that's just because naturally in their habitat, you know, you gotta think of a waterfall. They might be growing in cracks of the waterfall and little rock areas of the waterfall. So that's probably why they like to be tightly kept in their pot and why they do prefer a lot of water. I've noticed that whenever it comes down to plants, and this always works for me, is research, research, research. Research is definitely key for taking care of plants, especially ferns. I find the more research you do, the better off you really are. Especially if you can do your best to simulate their natural habitat, which is what I am trying to do here strongly. Fertilizing, I've only fertilized this guy once, to be honest, and he seems to be doing alright. I might next month give him a little bit of fertilizer. I try not to give him much fertilizer because I know ferns, where they naturally grow, they don't get a lot of fertilizer, so I try to limit the fertilizer. Other than that, I think that's really all I got to say about this guy. He's been real easy for me. I know a lot of people have struggles with these guys. Honestly, especially whenever I'm going somewhere, hanging out with friends in a different city for a weekend or something like that, I will put a whole dish of water underneath there for him, and I don't have to worry about him, really. This seems to work out very well for me. But again, depending where you're at, it might be different for you. It might be a little bit more fussy because your air is more dry than the Indiana air, because I know here in summer we get very tropical, very humid. Then in winter we're just dry and cold. That's really all I got to say about this guy. Any questions? Any suggestions? Or, you know, show me pics of your maidenhair fern, maybe down below if you can in YouTube. I'm quite new to YouTube, so I'm not sure if you can actually send pics in the chat, so. But, otherwise than that, any suggestions or anything like that, or if I should go ahead and repot this guy, because he honestly seems pretty happy in this pot the way he is. I haven't seen no roots really come out from the bottom yet. That's really all I got to say about him. Alright, guys. Have a good day, and have a wonderful day, really. Just. Alright, guys. One last look at the maidenhair fern. Again, don't worry, you will get some dry tips, dry fronds. Don't worry about it. It's just natural. Don't freak out. I know most people completely freak out about it and they think their fern is dying, but it's not. Again, only use distilled water. Or rainwater if you can. They seem to really perk up when it comes to rainwater for something. But that can also mess up the pH levels in your soil and things like that. So, alright, that's really all I got to say. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next video.